McDonald's store closure worldwide. Throughout the past few years, McDonald's, which is the largest burger business in the world, has been closing hundreds of stores within the United States. Amid a hard environment for the restaurant sector, McDonald's continues to reduce its huge footprint. Even though it still operates around 13,500 locations in the United States. What are the reasons behind these closures, and how many locations have completely changed their distinctive golden arches for good? According to the Wall Street Journal, this is a significant shift in the connection that has existed between Walmart and McDonald's for the past 30 years. In the previous year, the pandemic had a significant impact on the fast food business. According to McDonald's, the slowdown that was induced by COVID-19 resulted in the company experiencing its lowest profits in 13 years. While other fast food companies are beginning to regain their footing again, McDonald's is choosing to proceed with caution. The McDonald's restaurants at Walmart do not attract a significant amount of customers, and McDonald's intends to close approximately 200 of them, leaving only 150 of them operational across the country. McDonald's is closing its stores. The ubiquitous golden-arched restaurants of McDonald's have become emblems of fast service dining ever since Ray Kroc launched the first-ever McDonald's restaurant in 1955. McDonald's now has over 38,000 locations around the world. Throughout both prosperous and difficult economic periods, the network has managed to keep its dominant position from coast to coast. Despite this, McDonald's USA has closed several hundred outlets that were not functioning well in recent years due to changed consumer patterns and growing costs. As McDonald's continues to reduce its domestic portfolio, it is anticipated that additional closures may occur shortly. It is necessary to investigate wider industry developments that affect fast food to comprehend why McDonald's is closing stores as a result of supply and demand. McDonald's closures are attributed, in large part, to the fact that the fast food chain has an excessive number of outlets. Around the year 2014, McDonald's had more than 14,200 locations across the United States. It was able to achieve convenience and ubiquity as a result of this, but it resulted in the chain becoming exhausted. Because there were so many restaurants near one another, sales were cannibalized, and redundancies were produced. McDonald's has been able to condense revenue into fewer locations that have better volume because of the closure of underperforming operations. Their approach is based on the time-honored business maxim, which states, "Get big or get niche." Delivery competition is detrimental to sales. The proliferation of easy meal delivery services is yet another tectonic shift that has recently impacted McDonald's. Customers can simply order food from a wide variety of restaurants and have it delivered to their homes through the use of apps such as Grubhub, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. Due to the ease of drive-through windows, fast food franchises once held a dominant position. This historic edge, however, is diminished in some way by delivery. Lower customer counts at individual stores render them unsustainable when paired with the saturation of the market in which they operate. Overall, the expectations for food access have increased as a result of delivery. Values of real estate affect decisions. Considering that McDonald's franchises the majority of its sites, real estate is also involved in the closing choices. To determine profitability, the value of the underlying property and building is taken into consideration. The real estate upside that may be gained from selling a corner position with significant foot traffic may be greater than the cash flow that a mediocre restaurant generates, particularly in highly desirable metropolitan regions. Once it is determined that the land may be sold or rebuilt profitably, closing down the restaurant is frequently the most advantageous course of action. Transfers of control through refranchising. McDonald's franchising effort has been another factor that has contributed to the company's decision to close more domestic operations. Through the implementation of this program, thousands of company-owned outlets have been transferred to the ownership of local franchisees. These independent proprietors have more leeway to make decisions regarding their businesses, such as terminations. A more stringent level of oversight was formerly exercised by the corporation on its direct retail portfolio. Franchising locations offer some protection from being held responsible for business closures. Recent years have seen a total of closures. It has been reported that McDonald's has shut down approximately 1,000 stores across the United States over the past 5 years. Even though the majority of closures received minimal exposure, it is clear that restaurant turnover has become increasingly widespread. The most notable closures include the loss of the landmark Times Square site in Manhattan, the closure of dozens of McDonald's restaurants in Chicago, and the disappearance of a significant number of mini McDonald's restaurants situated in Walmart. However, the closures extend from coast to coast. In the years to come, it is expected that more restaurants that are not functioning well will replace their golden arches. Given its still enormous scale, and the fact that it is expanding its delivery and digital capabilities, McDonald's can significantly reduce its domestic system. McDonald's is closing stores as the company continues to expand internationally. It is important to note that McDonald's aggressive worldwide expansion continues even as the number of closures in the United States increases. There is a continuing acceleration of development in regions such as China and India, where the hunger for fast food is always expanding. The McDonald's brand is not experiencing any weakening on a worldwide scale. Rather, the domestic closures are mostly a reflection of saturation and changing consumer patterns. There is still a growth in revenue across the chain as more international operations are opened. As it expands its holdings in other countries, McDonald's is working to maximize its footprint in the United States. The closure of McDonald's stores is being denied by the company. McDonald's claims that this is a result of ordinary course correction rather than a systemic reduction, even though more and more restaurants in the United States are closing their doors. In a statement, the chain was emphasized as follows: "We have always had a greater number of restaurants than we require. Deciding to close those locations that are not operating well is a wise business strategy." According to them, closures are referred to as right-sizing rather than downsizing. On the other hand, ongoing closure activity highlights issues that are specific to the market in the United States, where preferences are always shifting. Criticism regarding communities that have been abandoned. The decision of McDonald's to close restaurants in low-income metropolitan areas has been criticized by several campaigners. They claim that doing so contributes to the perpetuation of food deserts by lowering the availability of affordable meals. McDonald's, on the other hand, has committed to reintegrating resources from closed stores into high-volume locations that are already in operation within the same neighborhoods. By upgrading survivors, it is possible to employ more people while also providing improved service to neighbors. Easily vilification is made more difficult by franchise dynamics. Opportunities for refreshing locations that are still available. By selectively closing stores that are not operating well, McDonald's can invest in upgrading and modernizing its highly successful establishments. To provide a more modern experience, remodels include the installation of facilities such as digital kiosks, luxury design, and multiple customization possibilities. By creating an enticing third place to dine, work remotely, or hang out, refreshed stores help McDonald's compete for discretionary dining money. This allows McDonald's to attract more customers. Having fewer units allows for more experience-focused initiatives to be made. Post-pandemic caution is reflected in the cuts. When COVID-19 was causing disruptions to routine operations, McDonald's accelerated their shutdown in the United States. The profitability of city center and mall-based units decreased during lockdowns, whereas drive-through sales experienced a surge during the lockdowns. Number of urban restaurants plummeted as a result of decreased traffic from tourists and office workers. Because so many were already performing below expectations, closure was unavoidable. Post-pandemic caution is reflected in the practice of right-sizing for uncertainty. Strong suburban and drive-through outlets, on the other hand, are thriving. Trends in sales continue to be positive. Even though McDonald's has recently shut down hundreds of restaurants in the United States, the company's overall sales trends continue to be strong. There is still a consistent influx of customers to the Golden Arches. Same-store sales continue to increase as a result of developments in menus and an emphasis on the most successful shops. The elimination of underachievers leads to an increase in profitability. The goal of right-sizing is to increase averages rather than to stop declines. The conclusion regarding McDonald's closing stores. The current wave of restaurant closures in the United States by McDonald's indicates the company's deliberate right-sizing rather than weakness. It is possible to streamline prospects for better-performing sites by removing several hundred units that are already underperforming. Saturation, fluctuating real estate values, intense rivalry for delivery services, and post-pandemic prudence all contribute to closures. Despite this, McDonald's closures ultimately demonstrate the company's financial strength and agility. Diners continue to look for those iconic golden arches, but they are now doing so in more strategically placed sites that are beneficial to the company, franchisees, and the community as a whole. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.